Okay, so hello everyone, and yes, welcome back. So we are at episode 16 of Raiders of the Serpent Sea. We have a full house, so everybody's here. I think everybody's ready to go. And yeah, I'll play the intro, and then we will get cracking. Previously on Raiders of the Serpent Seas, the party journeyed into the far north in search of the War clan and their leader, Athos Bestum. They followed trails into the hills, leading them to a devastated village where all the inhabitants, including women and children, had been killed. The party performed funeral rites for the victims by cremating the bodies, a decency the War had not shown. Later, venturing deeper into the woods, they encountered strange creatures, possibly Jotun, and unusual wolf-like beings that had transformed into oily tentacles. Upon their death of these creatures, the surrounding Jotun also perished. On the shores of the large lake, they discovered a fleet of ships constructed of ironwood, the strongest material for shipbuilding. However, all the ships had been burned and the builders slaughtered again by the War clan. Not long after that, they found a clearing where several White Cloak's King's Guards were hanged. One was left to bleed out. After cutting her down, Frida saved her life and recognized her as a fellow Rockpike native. She instructed the guard to feign death and handed her family knife. After a brief explanation and keeping the guard's survival secret from the War clan, the party continued their journey. Upon reaching the hill's peak, the party sighted the stone city of Rockpike. It was a place Frida had not seen since raiders took her away following an attack that killed her family. The city was under siege from the War clan, with catapults and soldiers preparing for an assault. The party was granted parley and visited the main war camp to speak with the clan leader. The War clan claimed that the goddess of death, Hel, had ordered them to pass through the Hellmoors to Rockpike and thwart the schemes of others, likely the Witch King or the Witches of the Ironwood. The discovery of the war fleet was seen as a sign that the Bendor influence here must be stopped. Athos proposed that a meeting with Hel was a good way forward. And then they made their way to a Hellmoor, where the party encountered the apparition of Hel. She suggested that her mother was likely behind the current events and needed to be stopped at any cost. However, the party persuaded her to give them 2 days to identify those within the city possessing the corrupt power and help save the innocent. Now, with the clock ticking, the next steps are in your hands. All right, everyone. So yeah, we are back in the moments, and I realized just how gravelly my voice was yesterday when I recorded that. But we are here, and yes, you guys have moments ago had that meeting with Hal. Some of the War clan are close by, especially the leader Athos is very, very nearby. But you guys are together as a group with your comrades as you were. And yes, you've had that experience, and is it time to speak about this between each other, or would you make your way back to the war camp with the leader of the War clan first? These are your choices, but you are back in the room.
First thing, Zisa's gonna stow the feather that she revealed to Hel.
Yes, that became a thing, that there is someone within the city that will have answers to what that's about. You are now, Zisa is definitely now aware of that. That's definitely true. But yeah, she parks that away, not a problem, as this is all going on. Herolf is kind of is there as well, and he says, "Well, that was an experience. I'll definitely give you that. Have you had to deal with that before, Blythe?" If he wasn't muted.
I couldn't unmute myself. I don't know what was going on. So I hotbarred it, but yeah.
Oh well.
I haven't, have I?
No, you haven't had that. You haven't had that experience before. No, that's the first time you've had to actually, literally meet your god. I believe is up there. How is he feeling about that?
Yeah. He's a bit. Not starstruck. That's not the right word. I would.
Yeah, it seemed awestruck. I guess maybe.
Yeah, more awestruck. He's like it was obviously something I've never had to do before. Never even thought it was possible.
Dealing with the gods directly, that's new.
That
but I guess that's
surely
why
shows
I guess that's why
the
we're all
weight
here.
of the situation, right?
Indeed. The Volve work in mysterious ways, and the fact that we're having to deal with things like that is, I guess, kind of surprising, but then kind of not. Well, okay, well, we need to plan things and work out what our next steps are going to be, but do we need a moment here, or do we go back to the camp and then break from there and get some peace? You might find it easier here to make some plans than there. I'll keep the clan leader occupied, if that makes sense for a little bit, if you need to talk through some things. And he sort of looks at you all for a moment and then sort of makes his way off to Athos, and they begin discussing whatever's going on. You can overhear some of it, and he's basically talking about how it's obvious that the goddess wants the War clan to hold for the next couple of days, and this group are obviously by some level destined to at least have an attempt at finding a different resolution to all of this. Frida, I forget how much of her information are the party aware of at this point? What do they know as a thing at the moment?
The dream that everyone saw. So
they saw
being
her
taken, but they didn't see anyone dying. Didn't see.
No, they didn't see any. They didn't see any of that.
Place.
Yes, no. That this is the place. I think. I do not know.
You definitely remember little bits, but enough that this feels like this was where you were back then. Yeah.
I was very, very young when I was taken. It's not something that I have amazing memories of. I can't remember much of it, but I remember the city's name, and that was definitely it. I can't remember it off the top of my head. Frida would say
that's okay. Yeah, Rockpike is the city. Yeah, you did recognize that. And I think the other one I'll give you is the symbols on one of the symbols on your knife would have been one of the symbols you'd have seen on the King's Guard's uniform as well. So yeah, it certainly would have matched up from that point of view as well. So yeah, there's definitely a link there.
Well, we were also privy to the conversation that he had with the guard that
you certainly
Frida spared, which means we know that she's a princess here.
She certainly claims to be something. Yes, yeah. You certainly have overheard some of it, and you have all at this point gone along with the deception, at least for now, to the War clan of that person was dead. So yes, you have certainly done a bit of that. But now you have to think of a plan. What's your steps forward? Is the honest truth. Well, have you got any thoughts or ideas of how you want to try and play things moving forward as a group? Or I think now's the time to discuss it.
Frida, as a princess of this Bandor kingdom, do you know of a way to get in that is unknown to others? Zisa just flat out puts it out on the table.
Yes, yeah, just literally like, bing, there it is.
James, I highly doubt I do because
no, I can't give you that. Yeah, no, I mean, you would remember playing in some of the gardens. You would have probably played in some of the grounds. Probably partially remember things like the graveyard was spooky. A fun place to be around and things like that. But I don't think you have knowledge of ways in and ways out, particularly, unfortunately, because of your young age at the time.
Yeah. Sorry, Zisa, I do not know. I was as you all saw in that dream. I was very young at the time when I was taken. I barely remember this place as it is. I only remembered the name when she said it.
Frida, you can make an intelligence check for me as well.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Checked.
Yep. Yep. I mean, you've been so removed from that world of etiquette or of kingdom info. It's kind of it's hard to say how they would react to anything. You know, you just don't know.
I don't know if these are the same people that raided in the first place. These could be new settlers. But I doubt they would know my family name or the crest of my family either. It might sway us to be able to convince these people not to go to war, but apart from that, I do not know any way of getting in apart from us walking through the main gates.
Can I send my owl to do like a lap or just travel around the walls of the encampment? Sorry, of the kingdom to see if there's any breaks in the wall or any gates or anything like that?
Yes, there would be different levels of danger to that. I mean, obviously, even at this point, you would know that there are obviously people with archers, things like that on the walls. They're at war, if that makes sense.
But would they take out an owl? Would they think
This is a world of magic where possibly is the answer. You don't know for certain, and I would say that there may be rolls involved, but yeah, the closer that your owl went, the more potentially in danger it would be, if that makes sense.
Okay, that's fine. I would still attempt that. I think.
Yeah, no problem. So we'll I think you'd have to move back to the war camp, but that certainly is something that you would then be able to pull off when the time comes on that one. That's certainly true.
Surely, though, sneaking in would seem a lot more hostile than just walking up with the banner as a sign of peace, or not peace, but for talks. Maybe they might honor it. Not unheard of.
Again, not unheard of. That is certainly, I would give you that for definite, even with the 5.
If we go with not the Warclan's banner, it might be a little bit better because it shows that we are not part of them. We could go with the Orn's banner that we have.
Yes, you do have Thorngerd with you. She says, "I'm perfectly willing for you to use the banner in that form if you wish. We could go under our banner and try and disassociate ourselves a little bit there, if that is of use."
These are the Bendor. They may just see us as raiders, regardless of what banner we...
Agreed. I don't disagree with the possibility, but it might strike a little bit more than coming under the clan, under the banner of the War.
And the way that the War Clan has been treating the slain without any honor or respect may come into play as well.
Agreed.
We also have the woman on the inside. If she made it back, she knows our faces. She will probably tell them that we saved her life. It may persuade them a little bit more in our favor as well. She is part of the King's Guard. She did say so.
Do you think she would have gotten past this siege?
She probably knows a way in that isn't the main gates, and unlike me, she's probably lived here all of her life.
It's a shame we didn't ask her if she could tell us a way in beforehand.
I'm sorry, I was a bit shocked at the time when she said my home kingdom's name. It kind of, I don't know, it was a bit much for me at the time to think of something that small.
Fair enough.
We were limited on time as well, to be fair.
Well, if there are secret messages in them, do you remember one, maybe? Maybe one you played in as a little kid or something?
No. I was probably around 5 years old, less than that at the time.
Probably 4 or 5 is probably reasonable.
I was very young when I was taken. I do not remember pretty much anything from this place. It's probably a lot different now as well. It's been many years since I've been back.
But if the guards that you recognized are still here, that would mean that the Bandor kingdom that you came from is still who is in control inside.
I would not know who is in charge again. I was in my family was in charge, and they got slain in front of my eyes by raiders. So, for all I know, I thought raiders occupied this place, but apparently Bendor people do.
So, if our decision is to walk in through the door, we could say that plan A is to hope that the woman that we freed is there and she vouches for us. Plan B could be us offering information about where the lynched are so that they have the ability to go and care for their dead, if needs be, as a show of good faith.
Any way you put it, I think it sounds like tense negotiations, yes.
Zisa, you have ways of talking to people from afar in their head, correct? I'm assuming. Message.
To a certain extent.
Not sending. As we're walking up, could you maybe, if you see a guard, could you talk to him in his head and just try to persuade him a little bit in our favor before they rain down arrows on us?
I feel that is ill-advised. I feel that most would feel uncomfortable. The idea of someone entering their mind without their permission.
Hodor is not incorrect. There are those who are uncomfortable with that as well as magics in general, unless the Bandor people are more accepting. Would you know that, being a princess of the Bandor kingdom?
No. Well, I'm assuming if they're getting all this ironwood from somewhere, they probably run into the ironwood witches at some point. They must know that magic is fine in some capacity.
Yeah, ironwood is one of those. It's one of those tricky things. I mean, everyone knows that most ironwood comes from, where the witches are and things like that. But you guys have a kind of the whole place has kind of a strange relationship because it's so useful a thing. So if you get hold of ironwood, people tend to use it. I mean, raiders do it for if they can build bits out of ships. They will. They also will make weapons from it and things like that when they can. So it's kind of although it may be quote unquote a possibly dangerous thing sometimes, it's used a lot in this world in lots of different forms. I think the main thing that you're getting from this and what the way the War Clan have been talking, which does kind of make sense, it's incredibly odd that they have so much of it, which is the thing that they can make a fleet of. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Like if they've gone to the main woods and got it, they must have ran into something along the way.
It's incredibly suspicious. Yeah, I mean,
Is this? How far away are we from the city? Can we see it visually?
Yeah, you'd be about the distance of the picture at the moment. So you're not that dramatic, but the war camp is between you guys and the city. That is obviously a lot closer, and that's within like 100 feet, 200 feet kind of thing.
Can we see what banners they're flying?
Absolutely, and I think you would be able to certainly see. Only Frida would know for certain, but it's the same symbol that that you had on one of your knives.
So it's her family banner that they're flying.
Rockpike. So there's a banner for Rockpike, and there is a symbol for her own family. If that makes sense. So there's two different things going on there, but most of them that you've seen so far have been of Frida's kind of of Rockpike rather than of her family one at the moment.
Could we makeshift Frida family banner and march up to the gate with it?
You technically have something that you have got something that might work, Frida? Don't you have it somewhere on your shield somewhere?
I etched it all on my shield, on the back of my shield.
Surely that would get their attention.
Would it not look like we're deceiving them, though? Like, we could have just seen the banner and I could have just done a quick etch on the back of my shield. I don't want to raise suspicion towards us. I want it to be as diplomatic as we can before shit hits the fan.
I think, honestly, I think we need to approach this entire thing with complete honesty, openness, and in a sense, we need to try and disprove all they think about raiders. They're going to be for us to be lying and deceiving. We need to walk up, show we aren't a threat, and I think that's the best way.
I agree, which is why I think showing any of our banners is a bad idea. They'll shoot us on sight.
I think, I agree with that. I think Frida should lead first, with the shield held aloft. Everyone else walk forward, hands shown, as a sign of good faith. I think if we try and make this complicated, we'll end up falling into spiraling of lies and we'll get caught up. I think we just keep it simple, be honest about why we're there, and Frida can be honest about who she is. And that's the best way, I think, forward with this.
James, the people, when they were making the Ironwood ships, were those Baindor ships or were those Raider ships?
No, it's believed that they were Bendor ships, and that that the Raider, the War clan, had come through and killed them, and that's what they implied when Athos, the leader of the War clan, was talking to you about it as well. So Bendor fleet of ships that's been mostly destroyed is probably the best way of putting it. Certainly along with the builders. The builders were ripped to shreds.
These are Bendor people who have access to vast amounts of ironwood. To think that they came across those without the aid of the Witch King is unlikely. It could be that we are walking directly into enemy influence. If we want to do so under the assumption of negotiation, fair, but I don't think we should be as forthwith as Hodor says we should. We need to assess the situation. We need to see what connections they have. I will be observing any influence that might be had. If there are thorns present, I can let you know. But we should not let them know that we know. We must be careful with what we say, as well as revealing that Frida is indeed a princess of this kingdom if the people that are currently in rule are the ones that overthrew your family. They might not want to know that you even exist.
That is my opinion as well. I only said it in the moment because I was kind of in shock, but revealing that too early might be playing all of our cards.
You have already revealed that to one of the guards. She may be duty-bound to tell those in charge about you.
And the other one to remember as well, Frida is quite unique in how she looks. That half-orcs are not really a thing very much in this world. So yeah, there is another little wrinkle in that, just but purely by how she looks, is another point of reference. It's not impossible to be that, but it's not common.
These are all things to keep in mind and to be careful about mentioning if we are to go forward with diplomacy. And
we'll remind you as well, Hel's comments on was that it would probably be the influence of her mother. So there certainly is thoughts that this matron of the Ironwood would be involved. Is from what Hel was saying.
Which none of us know much about the mother. We only
know one of the first things we've ever heard about.
Well, yeah, you barring the person that you met, that claimed to be that on the island. Yeah, you don't know her by any other terms. Yeah, I know where you're coming from. But yes, it is certainly it's certainly something that you are aware of enough to make a thing. Hrolf has been keeping Athos busy for a little bit, but are you guys ready to at least maybe make your way to the war camp and work out from there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, you guys will...
Actually, one thing before we go, I will turn to Blythe and I will ask, I know you are not as much influenced by your clan anymore, but do you still trust them enough to uphold this 2 days, or do you think they will?
I believe so. I don't think they would say something and then go back on it.
No, we also have to remember that this is something that came from Hell herself. Were they to attack early, then they would be going against the god that they revere.
Absolutely true. That is certainly true. And I think your dealings with them have been pretty direct. The Gull has been fairly honourable in what he has said and done. The only sort of dishonourable things is not paying any homage to the dead and things like that is kind of a bit drastic in your minds, but it is they seem to be a bit more forthright in some ways. But you've not had anything play wrong with these people yet on that front. So I imagine then you guys will slowly but surely be catching up with Hrolf and Athos, and their discussions has sort of been carrying on, and they seem to be. She's been accepting of what has been said, and she sort of looks over at you all and says, "So, the goddess has left you alive, and apparently has granted you 2 days to figure out what is going on here. I will wish you luck, and my men will prepare as best we can. And then, if you do not return, then we will avenge you and all of your people."
Yes, your goddess has saw fit that we should move forward before you. She wishes this to be solved. She has questions that she wants us to find answers to. You could help with that.
Interesting. In what way? But let's walk towards the camp and talk.
I have magics at my disposal, but they require focuses. And of all the focus that I could get, I'm sure the War Clan could provide me a gilded skull of some worth.
You need a death cleric, then.
If there's one present, then I would speak to them.
He is here. There is one. Yes, within the camp, he would be able to help. You'll be looking for Danan. He will be able to help.
As you say. And as soon as we get back to that Zeus is going to go directly to try to find that person. If anyone wants to come with, they can. Otherwise, she's just going to go by herself.
No worries.
I'm interested in a death cleric. I want to go see a death cleric. Let's go.
Fair enough. You will be able to do a bit of that. But yeah, the camp will come up on one side. Baldor, yes, is there?
Baldur will follow.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, easy enough. So you guys make your way back to the main war camp. There is a vast amount going on. You guys are sort of brought through past the sort of initial tents where you guys were originally, and you're brought to a sort of more halfway point, sort of more of a staging area of what's going on. There seems to be quite a lot happening at this end. There is a woman that seems to be doing a lot of the directions around. She seems to be some sort of a druid of some description, and she is ordering different men, etc., to carry on with some of the building work. She is also working on different staging areas. There are now different groups of archers been set up, spaced very deliberately away from the walls, hiding behind little wooden barricades that seem to be around, that are trying to keep them sheltered from what's going on. In between that space and the walls, there are many arrows littered between where people have been judging the distances and things like that. But they seem to be preparing well, as Athos will bring you all over this way to her, and she will nod, and Athos will basically say, All of these will be heading through at some point, but they will need to understand what the situation is here. How goes the preparations? And this woman will nod and sort of, at the behest of the leader, starts to explain that the catapults are about a half day's way from being finalized. At least the first one. The second one will take more of a day. After that, they will be prepared to advance, in theory. We have seen at least 15 different archer sets across the walls at this point. They seem to be well set for a siege at this point. However, we must have caught some of their main forces outside of the gates, as they seem to be holding back and have not been testing as we've been building. I thought we would have at least seen some sort of a counterattack as we were attempting to build the catapults, but they have not. I take this as a good sign. However, they have seemed to cover a lot of their walls very well. If there are other entrances, they are very well hidden. My scouts have not been able to find them at this point. But it does not mean that there aren't any. And she sort of nods. I understand one of you is looking for our death cleric, Danan. He would be over in one of the tents to the right there. By all means. If any of the rest of you have any questions or need anything from me, please let me know. And it seems like Athos is at this point taking a leave of you all. She takes one sort of extra moment with you, Blythe, and just sort of nods your way for a moment and just says, I know that your time with us has been short in some ways, where you have not been part of the clan proper for a long time, but you are of us. We will honor our end of this bargain, and if you can... Any information that is acquired whilst you're in there will, of course, be of use on your return. And she sort of gives you a solid nod as before leaving and heading off.
Life does the same.
Very well. The rest of you, any questions at all or anything that you need? Meanwhile, as that's sort of going on, who is going off to the death cleric? Is it just Zisa on her own,
or? I'll go.
Is Hodor interested enough to?
Hodor, please let me die. Death cleric.
No, it'll be more like try and kill me.
Yeah, try and
Bring it on.
I will watch from a distance, but I won't.
Is Hodor joining them as well, or? Sorry, you might be muted, Jesse. Yeah, that might be what's...
Yeah, I didn't realize I was muted. I was really talking excitedly about I want to see the bones.
Okay, no problem. I'm going to give you that... of all the things here, the most obvious tent is the one that you would expect. There are different animal skulls on this slightly blackened looking tent. It kind of gives itself away as you guys do move sort of towards it. There is a small fire outside, and there is a man sort of with long dark hair, small miniature sort of sheeny coloured skulls around his actual sort of necklace and a few other things. And there are, he definitely let's put it this way, he gives off a vibe on that one that probably Hodor likes. And but as you approach, he will sort of look up and sort of nod and say, well met, and you are the visitors then. Rumors of you have already started to spread throughout the camp. It is interesting to see that you have sought me out. Do you need some guidance after meeting the goddess for the first time? I'm assuming that it may have led you to a revelation of sorts.
Yes, she is wise beyond our ken, and
Indeed.
some aid would be appreciated. She is allowing us to go forward before the raid to see if more diplomatic solution can be found along with answers. And in seeking those, we require your aid. I, specifically. You seem to have no shortage of skulls. I'm looking for one of some worth to use.
A focus of some kind, I'm assuming.
As you say.
We might be able to come to some arrangement. I could lend you one if it would be of use. Would something like... And yeah, he starts to scrabble around in his tent for a little bit and producing something that looks like a very ornate-looking skull made of something slightly more metallic, or at least it looks it. It has a sheen to it.
I cock an eyebrow at Hoder. Hoder, do you think this would be of use?
Should I roll?
You can roll an Arcana check and see if it's of use. Yeah, absolutely.
I would like to aid in that since...
Oh,
19.
19 in this case on that one. You don't know every spell that would require some sort of a focus like that, but it certainly has the right feeling. Your gut is telling you that it smells right, if that makes sense for the purpose.
Oda does sniff it. That
Sniff
is
the
something
skull,
he
yeah.
did.
I think it'll work well. Good shape to the cranium. Mandibles fit in quite well. Everything's pretty good.
I'm willing to loan this, as if this will be of use for a few days. If you do not return, well, it will be recovered one way or another. It seems things always come back, especially if they belong to her. I am but its guardian.
And I'm sure she would appreciate the aid that you are lending us in our mission to find answers for Hell.
She is a sight to behold, isn't she?
That she is.
Well, we all end up in her around one day, if we don't deal with things in the right way. I would rather keep her on our side.
Speak
has
for
a-
yourself.
Yeah, Zisa gets a far-off look of thinking of falling from the sky,
Yeah.
and then just looks back to him and says, "As you say."
Poodle's thinking about his dad in limbo.
Yes, all manner of different things, but they firmly believe if keeping Hell on their side is a very good way to go. Very well then, I wish you some luck in what you're about to do.
Whilst he was talking, can I do a once over of his collection?
Absolutely,
If
yes.
anything catches my eye.
You can make a perception check.
Dun,
Okay.
dun, dun.
I mean, he's certainly a man of your own tastes in some ways. There are definitely finger bones on necklaces. There are certainly other little items, very well preserved, and you clearly he's learnt his craft relatively well on some of this. So yes, there would have been. You certainly saw the finger bone necklaces that were of interest, but other than that, no, you didn't pick up anything super interesting.
I will turn to him and I'll go,
I must compliment your craftsmanship. I struggle to
thank
get
you.
that level of smoothness to a finger bone when trying to make jewelry, you know.
Yes, it's all in the preservation, you see. Arsenic helps.
Oh, when I discovered that, it changed everything.
It does. It does.
My jewelry making. Yeah.
It's always interesting to meet someone with the same tastes. And so as Zisa, they're kind of like moving into a different territory of their own small nerdom. Yeah.
Zisa no longer cares. She got what she needed, so they can do whatever that they want. Zisa's actually ritual casting detect magic, not only on the skull that she received, but also in proximity of this tent just to see, what she could see.
No, absolutely. Fair enough on that one. Hodor has his moments on that front, and as far as that sort of goes, Zisa, the only things you do find is that there are probably about 3 or 4 focuses that are kind of giving off a little bit of residual within the tent. You're not seeing any particular magic items or anything like that coming from him, if that makes sense. As that's all going on, and they are sort of preparing to sort of leave that tent. What about the rest of you? Is there anything you guys are up to or preparing? Obviously, Frida, you've obviously been able to get the lay of the land a little bit. You can see that there is the main gates up ahead, not too far in front of the staging area. Obviously, the road between here and the gates is peppered with arrows coming from both directions. There is certainly 2 large towers on either side of the main gates, not too far ahead, and then definitely further on there is the much larger royal tower. I would guess would be the best way of putting it, in the middle of the city, or to the far end of the city on the other end. It's probably at this point that Hodor and the rest are sort of making their way back to you all as this is all kind of going on.
While they were doing that, could I have found? This is going to be a stretch, but could I have found?
You're in a war camp, so there are possibles of things. So let's see what we're dealing with.
Some sort of, like, I don't know if paint is the right word for this era, but just so I can make the sigils on the back of my shield a bit more prominent, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. There would certainly be war paints and things like that around. So there are certainly things that would be doable on that one. Bafta, the lady, the staging area lady, would be able to sort of point out people that are dealing with some of that side of things, Frida, and it would be possible to get a bit of blue, equivalent of blue paint, basically. But it's basically stone, stone ground down in oil, in oil or egg.
That's fine. Then I will do that to make it a bit more prominent on the shield rather than.
Are you doing this in secret, or are you doing this where people would be able to tell?
Yeah, I totally forgot. We're in the war clan.
You are in the war clan. Yes, yeah. But how would she play this? Is the question on that front? They may Make an intelligence check, Frida. Let's see.
Intelligence and wisdom are not my strong suits.
That's
it's the same thing. Oh my god.
There we go. Okay, they would have seen similar symbols, at least from some of the banners, so they might be able to make out or understand what you're doing. They probably wouldn't guess it was possibly a family crest, or it would be a bit more of a jump for that. But it's not impossible they could think. Well, it would certainly be odd. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I'll do it kind of in secret, so I'm still invisible to them, but like my shield isn't. What I'm painting isn't visible to them.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm with you. So yeah, you're sort of trying to do things very, very discreetly. So let's have a sleight of hand check from Frida and just see how she's sort of doing.
X is also not one of my strong suits.
Okay.
Oh.
Midway.
No, good to know.
I saw the 0. I thought that was the 20. I got real excited.
But yes, so you spend a bit of time doing that. Is there anything else? Anything one of them's up to? Zisa, you were thinking of doing some scouting or reconnoitering as you guys are returning.
Zisa basically, once she has her detect magic up, she just wants to kind of walk around and see if anybody has any thorns.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. As you guys sort of making your way through the bodies of the people here on that front, I'm going to say that as the time sort of passes here and you are making your way back and things like that, no, there are no signs of anyone with any thorns in them or anything like that. If they did have that problem, they seem to have solved it. Let's put it that way.
Okay, and then if that's the case, then she'll return to the group, but she will send her owl to do the scouting thing, and if it gets shot down, then whatever, but at least then maybe we could get some answers about it.
Yeah, I suppose the question is it staying out of archery range, or do you think it's going in for a closer look is the question? How do you want to play
I don't
it with it?
think it would go in for a closer look unless it was warranted.
Okay,
So if,
no
if
problem.
the owl sees anything that could potentially be what we're looking for, then it can go in. But otherwise, it's gonna, just circle.
No worries. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, how much distance can you have on this? With the owl?
I think within a mile
it's
or
gotta
something
be big,
like that.
To at least give
Yeah.
you, it's enough to get you around a good chunk of the side of this city and things like that. Yeah, keeping out of sort of archery range and making your way around, you can clearly see the groups of archers built up on the walls as things are going on, and nice and easily. But make a perception check with the owl. Let's see how it's done.
Okay, I'm gonna roll for me, but it has a +2 and I don't. So
Okay.
Yep, you know what? I'm gonna do what Jamie did. I'm gonna turn off the doubles because I hate it.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah, it's throwing you now. Okay, no, fair enough. Yeah, well, yeah, we're moving. We might move that way at some point then, and put MIDI on instead of the dual rolls.
Don't owls have advantage on perception?
Yeah, they should have advantage on perception.
Okay, so then it's a 14.
A 14. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, you definitely pick up. They have definitely amassed their forces closer to the gates. It does thin out the further around you go, barring when you get towards the main tower. There seems to be a lot more archers back there. The internals of the city, from what your owl can see at this sort of distance, there are many homes, but all of them seem to be. There's not many people in the streets, if that makes sense, unless they're military, by the looks of it. Right, I had to cough there for a moment. But yes, there seems to be, in the center, there seems to be sort of a area where there are sort of general regular homes and maybe some commerce areas, things like that. The further north you go, the richer the houses look, more, and you start to get 2 or 3 stories of housing, which is something that's unheard of in Viking world. You don't get a lot of that going on. And then obviously this ridiculously large tower at the far end, and that definitely has archers based at the top and at the gate, another gate, secondary gate at the front of that tower. A lot of forces, not a lot of large catapults or weaponry like that. There doesn't seem to be a lot of that going on. It's basically numbers of men seem to be most of what you can see as this is going on. And obviously there is a larger contingent around the main gate, would be the best way of putting it.
Okay. And Zisa would give this pertinent information to Hrolf. But it seems like the best way, or the only way she could see really in, would be through the front gates under the guise of parley. So
yeah, Hrolf is kind of like, oh geez, this is good, isn't it? We got the War Clan in one side of us, and then we got the Bendor that hate us on the other side. I don't trust the War Clan as far as I can throw them, but the Bendor are no easier either. This is a tense situation.
Agreed. I am hoping that Frida can be trusted in this, that she will not be swayed by her roots, that she truly is one of us.
The Volve picked her a long time ago, and I have to trust that their reasoning is good. They don't fill me in on everything, and their ways are strange, I'll give them that. But they picked Blythe, and he's part of the War Clan, and they picked Frida for her, so it's not easy, but I trust that there is reasoning.
There's knowledge at play here that we are not privy to yet, and here's hoping that once we are inside those walls, we can learn more.
But we have found out much. I mean, there is, in all of these meetings, there's been much information we can take back that will hopefully aid them in making whatever the decisions are needed. So I don't feel bad in that we're on the wrong track for getting things worked out. We just need to get back to the Well of Wisdom and see if we can then find the way to the Drift Hall from the Volve. But this doesn't feel like this is wrong in finding out more now. This is why we are here, is to find out what is needed, and this feels like a piece of that puzzle as well. I just don't understand how it all links together. The child, the tower, hell, and the witches. It's a lot to take in.
Hell seems to believe that answers lie within.
Can you really trust the goddess of death? I don't know. I don't know.
The goddess of death does her job.
She does.
She has her duty to the dead. And she seems to be in the dark about some of the same things that we are.
The fact that a god's in the dark. It truly must be the end times.
And she just nods to that.
So you obviously this information has been relayed. You guys have picked up most of these conversations that are the parts that have been supplied and shared of what's going on. What's your plan?
Blythe is going to, whilst all this is happening, needs to go and find a harness for.
Oh
Iron?
yes, because we had a power up from hell.
She had a growth spurt, right?
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Big dog.
That is incredibly easy to do here. I mean, if you're gonna do that anywhere in the entire world, the clan that have that ride these things, she's not the largest.
Here, really.
She's not the largest wolf. Yes, she's not the largest wolf in the world, but she is significantly bigger than she was. And it certainly would be completely doable as this is going on. Sadi has been very happy to see this now. The dog is that much larger as well. Or your wolf has been larger.
Sadi, I told you she'd grow, and I told you she'd be able to be ridden.
And she's been trying to ride it anyway, but without the harness. But yeah, it's easily done in amongst the clan stores. They have multiples of these things, and the Bathda, the sort of the person that's been overseeing everything, points out the right people for you, Blythe. Easy enough, and your War clan anyway. It's easily worked out. A harness is taken and worked out. Does he try climbing on and just giving her a bit of a bound and sort of getting used to the idea of finally being able to ride her?
I need to phrase this in my head better, because what I was about to say was phrasing all over the shop. I'm going to get on your back now, and we're going to see I can actually ride. What do you think?
Yeah, she sort of she looks like she knows what's going on, and obviously I think in some ways, because Sadi has been doing a little bit of this, it's now like there is definitely a look of pleasure on your wolf's sort of face, as it's like, look, it's finally being able to do what it feels it needs to do.
Let's try it. And I do the straps and as best as I can, and jump on.
No problem. So you start. The rest of you watch as he starts to bound up and down the sort of this sort of staging area, making his way around as fast as he likes on the back of this wolf. You've seen some of the others sort of strolling between spaces and things. You haven't seen them actually move at speed very much, and it's impressive. They can move at pace. Those that are sort of paying more attention, there was obviously people clocking this is going on, and there is a couple of arrows that are fired from from distance of the wall, but they're nowhere near hitting at this point. But someone tries a pot shot, but they're way out of range. So obviously people are watching what's going on. But Blythe sort of comes back, and the rest of you are there and ready.
She's ready for battle. She's finally grown to adult size. Blessing by hell, and I do a symbol of hell.
Sure, absolutely. A lot of you have got
Sure
the
there
charm
is.
of hell.
Of course there is. There's the side of the cross, but I guess it's something.
Inverted crucifix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very metal. So yes. Are you going under a banner? Are you just going under a shield? What's the play forward here? How are you playing this?
Under the shield, I think.
Yeah. The banner's a bad idea.
I'm going to dismiss my familiar in case anybody was keeping a keen eye and saw this owl going around. I don't want that specific owl to be on my shoulder. So she's in her demiplane or whatever.
No problem. So yeah, you can you make your way out from the staging area then, slowly but surely, and you are heading towards the main gates of the city as this is all going on. I think how people so in order wise, Frida, you're front, the rest of you are sort of following behind as this is going on. So you're just holding your shield high. Is that kind of what's going on,
Yeah,
Frida?
kind of as visible as possible.
Weapons on any of the rest of you? I'm assuming hands up, or how are you playing this as this is all going on?
No weapons out.
No weapons out.
Not brandishing.
No problem. So yeah, you guys will make your way forward. There are sort of these sort of tense moments as Frida is sort of stepping forward, and but no initial sort of shall we say barrage occurs as all this is sort of happening as this is going on. You guys make your way over to the sort of the main gate, and we kind of see a little more of what's going on as you get closer. There are definitely archers on high, and it definitely looks like they've definitely all notched and sort of watching on as you get closer. It's sort of obviously it's a very large walled city, and you can see there is a sort of this sort of strange sort of gatehouse thing that's going on. But as you do sort of move closer, the gates are still completely shut, but there is sort of a sort of a yell from up high, and someone sort of yells, "Do you come under parley?"
Yes, of course we do. We do not want any bloodshed here.
And it goes quiet for a few moments, and then the gate will crack. There are a group of people on either side of the gate, weapons drawn. They do start to open the gate enough to allow you guys passage through, and you are sort of brought to a sort of a middle sort of center area, and a larger figure is sort of in amongst a group of other people as this is all going on. He seems to be an imposing figure, standing tall with a broad frame that hints at his strength and his combat prowess. He's rugged, weathered face, and he seems to have a look of someone that's pretty battle hardened, shall we say. He has deep set blue eyes, and he has a sort of a skeptic look on his face would be the best way of putting it, as you guys are sort of coming up with a burrowed frown. His face is sort of etched with lines and a sort of a roughly unkempt beard, and he seems to be having sort of his chestnut hair is sort of streaked back with a bit of silver in it, and he seems to be has a sort of a scar running down the sort of part of his right cheek that seems to be evidence of sort of encounters of battle, if that makes sense. He's in finely crafted armor of sort of darkened skins and leather, and it fits him very, very well, if that makes sense. He looks like someone that knows what they're doing in combat. His chestplate has intricate patterns which are possibly denote his rank, but they certainly, to you, Frida, have the symbols of the city on it. You're certainly getting that much. Draped over his shoulders, cascading down, is a sort of a fur coat that sort of helps with the cold. A lot of these are in furs. You've seen a lot of these white cloak people that were hung before. The middle group of people that were with him, 2 on either side of him, seem to have those similar white cloaks that you saw in that where you met that lady before. And then the rest look more like normal guards as this is going on. And he seems to have an emblem around his neck, again, of Rockpike. He's sort of looking out and sort of taking all of this in. And he says, "So, this is strange indeed, but the War Clan sends representatives?"
Well, in a way, yes. We have other reasons to want to be here, but we do not want your kingdom destroyed. I think that the best way to deal with this is without any bloodshed.
And you come here under the king's banner?
Is that what the?
And that's your family crest that's on your shield. Are you the one that was seen by one of my colleagues?
I was the one that saved your colleague.
Indeed.
Did she make it back okay?
She did. She arrived not long ago, claiming that someone matching your description claimed that they were, well, who you are claiming to be, I believe. You are saying that you are Princess Frida.
That is who I am, yes. I'm not claiming. It is who I am.
He quizzens on that one. He says, well, these are strange times. But seeing this knife was a bit of a kicker. And he literally has your knife in his hand. He says, one of my darkest days was not being here when that went down.
One of my darkest days was being here when that went down, so I feel like it is what it is. May I have that back? That is my only sentiment of this kingdom, please.
Very well.
It's my only memory of my childhood.
I will give it back to you after it is shown to, if you are to believed, your grandfather has had a look. King Senric rules here.
Do I remember that name?
No. Family. The memories of your family are very few and far between. You have fond memories of your mother and father, but memories of others are a little bit more adrift.
My grandfather's in charge. What? I thought my family was all slain that day.
No, although some definitely did try. But some of the royal family were lost, including, and he sort of nods, including yourself.
I was taken. I was not killed, thankfully, and now I've made it my mission to make it back, but being as young as I was, I could never remember where it was. So I went a different path. But now I'm here, and I would like to see the king, if possible.
If you did not look so much like your mother, I would not even consider this. But you are the spitting mage. And he sort of nods his head and he can't believe what he's seeing.
We'll take that as a compliment.
Lan has come through not long ago. She is already in the tower and being healed. I will, I guess, thank you for that, having her return. But I must warn you, you return under the banner of raiders. This is complicated. And
I assure
how much
you.
of a link do you have with those outside?
I assure you, I have no link at all to those outside. We do have somebody who is part of their clan, but even he agrees that the atrocities that they have placed upon your people are too far even for raiders. They have no
So you
dignity.
have seen some of this.
When we saved her from the hanging, there was a lot of other people hung from the trees by their neck, and that is not. It was a horrible sight. Put it that way.
At the behest of Princess Frida, we laid them to rest, as is the honorable way of our people. They were shown respect.
He cocks an eye at that. Your
I-
people burn, don't they?
Yes, it will either get them to Valhalla, I'm assuming that's what it's called, or hell. But it is a better ending than their souls staying here forever.
Well, it's better than being left where they lay. I'll give you that.
And I assure you, you can trust all of the people with me. They may look like hardened raiders, but they will uphold the treaty and everything. They do not also want bloodshed.
Your people are not known for their honor. But I will accept your word in this for now. However, I will ask that you all at least remove most of your weapons. I would not ask you to enter the city unarmed. I understand that would be too much. But I would ask that you leave most of your weapons here. And I assure you, you will not enter the king's chambers armed at all.
That is fair enough. We have a lot of weapons, especially this one, and points at Rauda with like 1,000 axes around it.
Yeah, we could be here for a while.
Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, I suppose how much do you all comply with all of this? But he seems to be, he's not expecting you to be defenseless because you're under parlay, but he is expecting you to de-weaponize, let's put it that way.
I'll give him everything apart from the great sword. At least, that's all I need anyway. And I'll keep my shield, obviously, because it shows.
There's the symbol on that one. Fair enough. No problem. Okay, so you guys will slowly but surely, make sure that you, in theory, don't take your weapons off your sheet, but have in your mind what's left on your person, if that makes sense.
Would I be made to? I only own one weapon. I don't know.
No, I don't. They don't expect you to be They don't expect you to be defenseless.
Cool.
So yeah, as long as that makes sense. It's others like Rauda, it's a bit more. Let's even that out a little bit as a show of good
Can
faith.
Balder make like a big show of like taking his axe that he never uses and like make a big show of like throwing it away?
Yeah, like damn.
Making sure that like he has nothing on him.
No, Baldo, not your axe your axe you love so much.
Like he's almost like at the point of like totally stripping down until someone stops him. Please, someone do stop him.
Absolutely not. This is hilarious.
Hodor does.
I will stop this.
You do not. You need your clothes. You do not need your weapons. Is what he said.
Yeah, he didn't mean like take off our armor or anything, right?
No,
Like,
he hasn't
keep
asked
our
you to get
armor.
rid of the armor on that front, but he has asked you to be honourable in your in
I'll
in
absolutely
removing
be
your weapon.
like, look, I will just use a bow in case we get attacked from afar.
Mm-hmm. That beast
And you
will have to
may
stay
take
here.
my things. Beast is part of our.
You're not
party.
taking that thing into the tower.
Hmm.
It will not bite. If anything happens, it will be on my hands. You can kick me out of this kingdom, but
Make
that
a
wolf
persuasion check,
has
really. Yeah, I know where you're
saved us
going. Roll well.
multiple times.
Can I
A good
help
dog.
him?
Not really on this one. Yeah,
I don't know how.
So you're part of the war clan. Why would
by
they let
saying
you help?
no, I don't want to.
Well,
12. Okay. He's kind of like
he will not come. Blythe, will you be okay with her waiting outside the king's room, at least?
I do not
Then
want
it-
to leave her in a city or just outside a city.
very well. How about we compromise and we keep her at the base of the tower for now? Once we get into the main city at the city gate, there is room there for feed for animals and things. We can accommodate the creature there better.
That's fine, but if there's any
The winding staircases would not be good anyway.
you underestimate. If there is any mistreatment of her, I will know about it.
We will honor our side if you will honor yours. And he sort of looks you very coldly in the eye, Blythe, because obviously you've still got clan symbols of war on you and in places. So
I will. I am very true to my word as my honor.
very
I
well.
seek no bloodshed today. If we just want to talk.
Indeed. Very well. Well, and then he turns to his men then. I guess I will be leading these raiders through the city then. That was not words I thought I would be saying this day. This way. And he will slowly start to make you take you on the way through the main sort of space of the city. You end up going through a few sort of building areas here. There's some 2-story stone buildings. Again, very strange for raiders seeing these things going on here. What you would imagine would be crowded streets seem to be very, very quiet at this point. And there, at some sides, there are even sort of finer sort of timber homes that are sort of built as along this main sort of roadway. There are several, obviously, what would be stalls, presumably, and every so often you see there is a cocked door and maybe a child's head pops out and an adult, sort of other people within a household are sort of looking out and checking. Sorry about that. I had to cough. But yes, so yeah, you make your way there. People are quietly watching what is going on, but not taking part so much. The town is very, very well fortified on the outskirts. However, and the further you go in, the more it turns into more of these sort of timber buildings. There are little fields here and there, small barns, clusters of goats, horses. There is some arable land in here. There are animals and bits. So they have got some supplies within the city. That's certainly true. You move a little further into the town, and it sort of ends up becoming like a second plateau that you sort of see. There are finer looking 2- and 3-story homes here, sort of surrounded with little stone and some with little wooden fences. A cobblestone path seems to be winding its way through the middle of these areas. There is even an orchard in the center of the space in this part of the grounds as this is going on. And a little further up, before you get to the gates of the main tower, there is the orchard area sort of opens up, and there is a ginormous tree, kind of like the equivalent of the sun tree, but with blue foliage and the Hodor, the telltale markings of ironwood. A living tree in the grounds of the city. Sort of stands out. It's a ginormous tree. Seems to be well cared for and sort of dominates this grove of smaller pines and rowan. And the ground is littered with little silver star-like leaves from this thing. And there is a stone bench that seems to be built under the tree's sort of foliage as that's going on. But yeah.
Do leaves
I
of...
want to collect the leaves immediately.
Yeah, about to say, do leaves of an ironwood tree have any alchemical usage?
That is a good point. Make me a Arcana. Let's see. Ooh.
Ugh, God bless it. I hate these double dice.
Oh, yeah. No, it's time. It's time to remove it then if it's driving you. But yeah, no. You're not so sure. But Hodor, yeah. I mean, yeah. You certainly see some. They are of interest, and there are many of them on the ground as you guys are starting to walk up and through. You have to kind of make your way through this sort of cobbled space to make your way to the main gates on the other side, if that makes sense.
Hodor will ask,
How long have you been growing that tree?
The tree has been here for a very, very long time. It makes the place, doesn't it?
It is stunning, I must admit.
They are certainly interesting things.
Are they common to the ecosystem around here? Or
No, not common. No, but it's certainly considered spiritual here. It's an interesting thing. It, however, has bloomed so much better the last few years.
Every plant needs a little bit of tender love and care, really, and obviously it's been receiving that.
What do your people call this breed of tree?
I don't know the right term, but he will give something that implies the same as ironwood. It's not the same name because it's the Bendor version of it, but he gives off a reference. I'll make sure there is one for next time. But yeah, he certainly gives it a different name than ironwood that you're used to. As you guys sort of continue on, then you make your way forward and move through towards the main gates of this sort of tower up ahead. Probably one of the largest structures you guys have ever seen, as in number of stories as this is going on. But there is these finer homes have sort of given way, and there is now the stone gate house at the outside of this large building. And the entrance is sort of partially opened, and there is a portcullis that is sort of raised on the inside as this is going on. Blythe, he will turn to you at this point, and the guard captain sort of says, "My men here will take good care of your beast, if it will imply."
See to it.
I should think that Blythe, you would want to see where Arwen is being stored and make sure that she is properly cared for in that place. I would go with you if you would like to inspect where she would be housed.
Very well, we can take a moment. And he will step off to one side, and he leads you to a small part of the side of the gatehouse. There is clearly, obviously, space for farmyard animals, and also some space for stalls for other things as well. But there is hay there and a little bit of other stuff that is down. It's not like they are pens as such, so there is gates on them, but it's not something Blythe that would actually hold back her if she needed to be.
I'm going to go for a very short period of time.
Sort of like gives you a
Don't
look.
be silly. You can hear me. If the tower isn't tall enough.
Grunts and huffs a bit.
I'll let you know if anything happens, and you might have to come to my rescue. But I'll see you soon.
Blythe, take your time saying goodbye. I need about 8 more minutes. As I'm ritually casting Detect Magic, like behind the wolf so that nobody could see.
Ah, yes.
Because that's the whole reason why I wanted to inspect where she was housed. She doesn't care. She's never shown any care for this wolf.
Well, that's what I was just thinking. I was like, that's weird.
No problem. But yeah, he will. He takes him a few moments and says, the captain says that this person will be entrusted, and
let me see what food you are going to give her, and let me see the water. I need to see the water as well.
And there is some meats they claim that there would be meats available, blah blah blah, and things. But
I'm just thinking up things to just distract.
The time does pass. That's not a problem. So Cece, you do get your detect magic up without too much hassle as this goes on, as they all begin to return.
Yeah, looking for any thorns, especially in our guide right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. No such thing on him. However, the sword he's carrying, definitely magical. So yeah, there's definitely a bit of that going on. And in fact, you probably think his armor is as well. But yeah, he will walk you guys back to the rest after a little bit, and he will basically lead you into the base of this tower as this goes on, and you're kind of taken up through a sort of a main sort of entry area up to a sort of a secondary floor, where Frida, you see a throne room that you haven't seen in a very long time. Will be there, and in amongst it will be many men, many guards, and a man, an older figure with a crown in the middle, who will be staring out at all of you quite quizzically as this is going on. And I think at this point we will quickly go grab our drink for a moment and have our break, and then we will return and deal with all of this. So well done, everyone. We will go to break. Right, okay, we are back, and we are here. So, at the end of the last section there, you guys made your way up the tower and have now been brought out to what Frida remembers as the throne room. And yes, a figure, a royal-looking figure at the end, but you basically have stepped out into a well-furnished throne room with animal furs and tapestries adorning the walls. Bronze sconces seem to be glowing with gems set into them that emit bright purple light, and the smell of warm jasmine fills the air. On the wall furthest from the staircase opening is a wooden throne. Upon sits an aged yet well-built man wearing plate armor no less. The benches to either side of him are empty. However, there are many, many guards within the room. A cloth-covered cage hangs 9 feet in the air above the floor, a chain running from the top of it through a hole in the ceiling above. As the figure now on the throne will be looking out, and he will say, "I welcome you all. Would the one claiming to be my granddaughter please step forward?"
Before I do, I have a quick question.
That's okay.
Now that I'm seeing his face, thinking back to the dream where I saw councilmen plotting against my family, is this one of them?
Make a trying to remember in a memory. I think we'll go for
Insight?
I think we'll go insight instead of perception in this case. Yeah.
Is this the vision that we all had?
What? Oh, we can't roll ones.
You can't roll ones. Yes, redo it. Yes, you have all seen that. You have all seen that dream. That is definitely
12
true.
Again.
12 on that one. No, you aren't recognizing him from that. However, I will give you this, Frida. His face is older, but there is some memory of a kind
I genuinely
old man.
thought you were going to say something in the nose then.
No, nothing quite like that on the nose.
Does he look like my father a little bit?
I would give you yes. He would look like Danik, your father. Yeah, there would certainly be a resemblance there.
Okay, I will step forward and bow.
And he will get up from the actual throne, and he steps forward. So he's looking you in the eye as much as he can on that one. His eyes sort of narrow as he casts his gaze upon you, and he says, "This is not right. You look so like her."
What do you mean this is not right? It is me. I don't know what else to tell you. I've been looking for this place for... Hang on, how old am I? How old did I put that? I've been looking for this place for over 20 years.
And in those 20 years, I have, through your father, avenged the deaths of you and your mother, thinking you gone. But now, I see before me a spitting image of my son's wife. I cannot deny that. He's already starting to turn over the knife that has been presented to him from the guard captain that escorted you across, and he will pass it to you, and he says, "We never did find a body, and I am sorry for whatever has befallen you. Clearly, much has happened," as he's looking at basically a raider in front of him.
Oh yeah, she's definitely a very hardy raider. She's got scars, everything.
Yeah.
She's not had a great life.
No.
She will say, yes, they took me after seeing... It was a very awful memory that plays over and over again in my head, but they took me as I was watching them slaughter our family, I suppose. And I can't remember exactly why they saved me. Maybe it was because I was the youngest of the family, but they took me in, and it was a very weird experience for myself. But now I'm a paladin of the land, and I'm also a raider, as you can see.
Indeed. I don't know all of your story, but we found information on the group that took you, or we didn't know that, but of the group that were involved in that. I spent a lot of money avenging your deaths. I am sorry I did not know the possibility that you were alive and among them. Maybe the gods graced the fact that you survived what happened later.
It must have been because I survived another raid party killing the raid party that took me, so there is something that the gods are not willing to let me go so early.
Know this, you have family here. And there are family further afield. Your mother may have died during that, but your father lives.
Sorry, he lives? I assumed they killed everyone.
He was injured, but not badly during the attack. He now lives in Oaken, your mother's land. He is ruler there. Your claim is stronger there than here. My family will rule. But there, your claim is strong under my son. He does not have an heir, or did not think he had one, although he has tried again since.
with you saying that, I'm assuming that my memories are true of my brothers and sisters dying as well, not just my mother.
I'm sorry, I only speak of the family that lived. Yes, your father survived, your siblings not.
Well, that's good to know. I suppose it was a long shot seeing if I could get this kingdom back, but maybe I could help my father run that kingdom of my mother's. I did not even know that she was from somewhere else.
Yes, your royal lineage is far stronger on your mother's side than your father's. Although he is of my line, he is my third. And so less likely to have become part of that. But you are family, and you are welcome here. These others, you vouch for them for now, and we will maintain a parley in deference to that. Zisa, there's a lot going on for you.
Yeah, I was just about to ask.
As this discussion is happening, you can see 3 or 4 of his guards definitely have either magical weapons or magical armors going on. He himself, a few things you notice. 1, there's a ring on one hand, invisible, can't be seen, but it is there and is blinking to you in magic. There are at least 3 other items on his person that are glowing at this point. Armor, a long sword at his side, and obviously whatever this ring is. And I even believe even his crown is giving off some signs, and his cloak. He is pretty decked out, and would be the best way of putting this as this is going on. Others are pinging around as well. We talked about the guard captain, your crew that are with you. Again, there's a lot of that, but obviously your interest is more on the crowd as this is all going on. But yeah, you're picking up all of that. Thorns-wise, though, no signs, none at all. As you're looking around.
I can use an action to identify the school of magic.
Mm-hmm.
Any of the items that he has on them, on the king, are any of them transmutation or illusion?
Well, the ring is giving off to me able to make invisibility. So you're certainly getting some of that. No, the rest seem more like items that are to do with +1 magical for a weapon, that kind of thing. It's nothing's jumping out at you as something odd other than what you would kind of expect in those respects, if that makes sense.
Oh. Okay, so it seems like the king's this is his true form, basically.
It does look like it's his true form. However, obviously the ring is hidden. That's the only one that you're picking up, that the others are not, as this is going on.
Okay, and now this cage that's covered by a sheet.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Anything from that?
Nothing is pinging from that. No, that is dark, but above, and it is definitely swinging there, high above.
So while this heartwarming reunion is happening, and Zisa is paying apt attention to it, she's going to cast Mage Hand over at this sheet to pull it down. Now, the thing about my Mage Hand, if you remember, is that it is telekinetic, which means that it is without semantic or verbal components, and it is invisible.
Okay,
so
fair enough.
It just looks like this sheet is falling.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, as this discussion is going on, Zisa, you obviously make this happen, and everybody else looking up, you just see as the sheet that is covering what is going on falls down from the actual ceiling, revealing a captive within a bird cage would be the equivalent of it, and you get the image of a blonde woman, fierce looking eyes, looking slightly gaunt, very tall. However, she is well strung up within this cage as this is all going on. And as everybody turns to this, and it says, the king will look as the sheet flutters to the ground. Well, it seems the Valkyrie carries on moving the sheets once more. And he will be starting to click for people to raise the cage.
Does this person look like Frida?
Does this person look like Frida? No, they do not look like Frida. No, no.
Does this person look like a person in Rowder's dream?
No, nothing like that going on. However, he's just literally called her a Valkyrie.
Yeah, I know.
Which is a term only means anything to raiders, because that's obviously they're supposed to be the people that lead you to the afterlife, if that makes sense. But he's just literally sort of on that one. He says, "My apologies, a troublesome prisoner that seems to be causing grief at all times." Men, and they will start to be cranking lifting the slowly the sign. She's looking down at you all very coldly. No response as this is all going on, but the cage is slowly being ticked up and into the rafters higher.
Question: You said she was tall, right?
Yeah.
How tall?
Very tall. Yeah, a large woman. Yeah, definitely.
Like
Is she a tall
large
folk,
large in the way that Zisa's large, or large in the way that like she's a giant?
No, she's not in giant form territory. No, she'd be a large woman about the height of Zisa would be about right.
And Zisa fell from the sky. Okay.
I am also Zisa's height. I did not fall from the sky.
That is true. But yes, this tall woman is being cranked up as that's going on.
As she is being cranked up, can Zisa reach into her sleeve and hopefully catch this woman's eye and just flash the feather that she has?
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. So you do. Make a perception check.
I'm not good at these.
She's got some pluses to this, but I do need to know.
Oh, come on!
Really good.
Yes.
Ooh, that is very, very good. This woman is as cold as a cucumber, and you don't think anyone can pick up, but there is the smallest of flashes in her eye where she looks at that and then looks back. She did pick up enough that it was something, and then as she's still being cranked. No other signs on her face. Cold as a cucumber. I don't know how cold cucumbers are, but she is cold. Yes.
Yeah. So Zisa will step forward as she's being cranked up and just say, "Princess Frida, as warm as this reunion with your grandfather is, we are here to discuss terms. I believe we should begin that."
Indeed. Your friend speaks true, Frida. We do need to discuss what the next steps are going to be. Do you come with terms from the War clan, or, as I'm hoping, do you come with ideas of your own?
Do we have terms? I remember Hell saying something, but I can't.
Yeah, you've got basically 2 days to root out whatever's going on here and make before the War clan will just attack and kill everybody anyway. So that's the only terms you've actually managed to work through. You have not come up with anything where you've been saying that you're going to have any terms from the War clan in any respects. But yeah, how does Frida play it in the moment? How much do they hold sway over you, my granddaughter?
There are a few questions that we would like answering.
And we have
that will
many
kind
as
of
well.
guide us, I guess.
Of course.
In this talk.
And I trust that if possible, you'll offer knowledge in your end as well. Now we have many questions. Let us begin. And I think anyone that's sort of scanning the room and doing a bit of that, I can have a sort of perception check from some of you, if that makes sense. If those that are not in the main, in the main space. If that
I'm
makes
avoiding talking and eye contact with any of these.
I'll say since Zisa stepped forward, maybe she's not doing that yet because
Yeah.
her
There's a
detect
lot
magic gave her all the information she wanted, but everyone
on
else
that
can.
front. Yeah, no problem on that one. Let's see
Oh,
what.
we're also
Damn,
perceptive today.
perceptive.
Spicy!
Okay, okay. Yeah, these are pretty damn good rolls on that one. Baldor, I mean, the woman was pretty in the chain in the in the cage, but yeah, not much more for him. However, Blythe and Hodor, you do definitely pick up a few different things. There are some very beautiful little models of the city off to one side near where the king is, and it certainly is showing markings of certain positions of men, and you assume of the War clan's sort of layout of attack, shall we say, or of what they've managed to make out. They obviously haven't figured out exactly the size of the force that they're dealing with, and it seems like their knowledge is a little limited on the scale and numbers of the main camp further back. However, they have obviously pinpointed things like the catapults, and these are clearly marked on these little tactical models that are sort of pulled out on the one side here. So there's clearly some sort of forces plan that's undergoing on that front.
Blythe notices this.
Yes, you also notice other things a little more, Blythe, than others do. The throne itself has vastly more intricate stuff going on. There are some very, very odd-looking runes in amongst some of that as well. You're not sure if they're magical or not, but they are very, very odd to your eye. That will be something that I will.
Nothing I've seen before.
Nothing you've seen before, no. But they're giving you bad vibes, shall we say? Your spidey sense is tingling. I'll give you that with that higher perception.
As I'm detecting magic, is it magical to my eyes?
No,
even though I can't tell anybody yet.
They're not magic runes that he's seeing at the moment. No, this is something else that he is picking up on that one. But yeah, there's certainly some other oddities that he's picking out on that one.
Okay.
So yes, so yeah, he sort of addresses you then on Frida on that one.
Yes. There is an initial question I want to ask, and I'm sure all of us would like to know, and the Warclan definitely wants to know. Where are you getting all of this ironwood, or whatever you call it, here?
And yeah, he announces the other name for it on that front.
It seems you have a lot.
You are asking in the official capacity for the War Clan as knowledge, or is this for your own benefit?
This is mainly for us, but the War Clan definitely would like to know. It is, as raiders, we very rarely see it, so seeing a whole fleet is very strange to us.
Very well. I will not go into detail because I do not know how much of this may return, but it was gifted to my kingdom. And it has been useful to a point until the War Clan came through and decimated my people outside of this city. Do you know the numbers that would be involved that they must have killed before making their way to the city walls?
I could not answer that. I'm assuming a lot. And again,
we estimate roughly 3,000.
Again, we had no part in that, and I was sickened at the way they did it, but it is not on our hands, and we have already made that clear to the War Clan, not just you.
Just for scale, how what's the average population for these kind of communities? Like percentage-wise, how much would 3,000 be? Just so can grasp.
I mean,
How
I mean, a big
ridiculous,
city
yeah.
would have 5,000 in it. We're talking about the outskirts of the city and things like that, but it's got to be
Okay.
you've got to be talking. They probably must have massacred a third of the people of around here in what they have done, or is what he's implying.
May
How
I
much?
go on, Caesar?
How much do you know of our people? Do you know what Ironwood means to us? Where we believe it comes from?
Honestly, we know very little of your people, other than that you decided long ago that we were the target of most of your raids. Most of what you have is usually stolen from us. No, I do not know what you call it, but I know that you do use it. We have seen ships of your kind that are made of it, and we have seen weapons. Some we have seen used, others we have taken. We know that you have uses for it as well. We both know it has properties that are useful in this world.
That is not untrue. To have the opportunity to utilize the properties of Ironwood is something that both our peoples do, but to do so is to court a power, a source that we believe is truly destructive. And for you to have such a great number of ironwood trees is what is disconcerting to the Walkland. It is something that goes beyond.
Yeah, so they would use it, but if anyone else is to use it, then it is a threat. That
To be
makes sense.
gifted as much as was given to your kingdom goes beyond the discrepancies of the clans and the Bendor.
It's not so much its use, more its origin that is of great concern.
So this is why they are on my doorstep, because they worry about wood.
We worry
he
about-
chuckles a little bit. Apologies, we do
worry-
not have the suspicions that you do, or the issues that you seem to.
They're our beliefs that go back to the beginning of our culture. That this could hearken dark times.
Well, it certainly has brought them to my doorstep. And the
This
question is, what do we do now? Is there a way to have this end peaceably? Or do we have to take action? Are you willing to take action? And he's sort of almost looking at you, to your eyes, Frida, this one.
What do you know of our gods?
I'm afraid very little. And I'm disturbed that you say it as our gods.
Well, most of my life has been a raider. You cannot just give up that life of mine.
He nods, but he is saddened.
Well, if what we know is true, then this ironwood could be a sign of a very bad god. I don't know if evil, I don't know if good, but it would not be a good thing that this god is back. And if they are giving you this, or they are they are the ones giving you it, then they might have a lot of control in this city without you even knowing. And this is what we are more concerned about.
See. What's Cesar rolling for? Sorry, just random runes. Yeah, I mean, he looks at you, Frieden, and he says, if we can figure a way for this to end peaceably, then I promise I will go into as much detail. However, there is not a lot of detail I can give you on where these gifts came from, but we need to solve the here and now before we worry about further. Is there ways to remove the War clan from my door? From my people's door? Your people's door? At least on your father's side. You must be some feeling in there.
Well, this is why we are trying to stop them. They've given us 2 days. Of course there is feeling here, but it is 6 of us against the whole clan's decision. We do not have much sway in that clan.
They are worshippers of the goddess Hel.
Oh.
You claim to have a Valkyrie as a prisoner to release her into our care so that the War can see that you are willing to work with them. Could go far.
He sits back, interesting on that one, pondering it in the moment.
It would be a show of good faith, and it would show that you, Bendar, respect our culture.
Also, catching a Valkyrie is no mean feat. It would certainly give you bragging rights, at least.
If there is gain in it, I am not against it. She has not been much use to me in many a year. She swore an oath to me and has not held to it in a long time.
What was the oath, and how long have you had her?
She swore fealty to me 7 years ago. She has had to be detained for 3.
Perhaps she does not serve you because you detain her.
I had no choice. She was
Don't
unruly.
cage a bird.
That's your beliefs, not mine. So tell me of
Even
this then. What gain would there be in us giving this Valkyrie to the War clan? You think this would make them shut up shop and leave my door? That does not sound correct.
It would probably give us a lot more time than we have to figure out what is perhaps in your midst that you don't even know. We must flush out this because, as we have said, this god that may have come back is not something that we should take lightly. It could signify, to put it plain, the end of our world, unfortunately.
Your raider beliefs run deep, I see. And he sort of nods and looks on it.
Odo will be looking at Blythe to see if Blythe has got any indication of whether or not Blythe, as a member of the War, think that they will see being given a Valkyrie as a form of good gesture, or is it basically just confirming their suspicions that they need to eviscerate these people?
That's really funny because I was going to ask James if I could roll to see if I would think that the War clan would do this.
Make an insight check, yeah.
So I'll insight, and then you can insight me.
Yeah, the insight chain.
Blythe, I think...
Inside off.
Hey!
So, from this point of view then, Blythe, you would say, I mean, their orders come from Hel. Unless her orders change in any way, they're not going to budge an inch in your mind on that front. The Valkyrie being handed over, as nice as it would be, would probably not change anything, barring they would probably have a few drinks that, whatever this person is has been freed, but it probably wouldn't stop them in any way. They would go, unless Hell's orders changed, nothing is going to make the War Clan move away.
And how much of this do I give away?
You get the sense, Hodor, that he's just a little uncomfortable. Maybe that we'll give it in those terms.
Yeah. Hodor's looking for any sign that Blythe doesn't think this is right, so we'll say,
I don't seem to agree with Frida and Zeus's opinion on how the war would approach the release of the Valkyrie in regards to this situation. Do you have any insight, Blythe?
I feel like nobody should be caged up, let alone a Valkyrie. I believe it may buy some time, but we need to convince Hell more than the War Clan. The War Clan don't do this out of just a willy-nilly need to raid. They do it at the behest of a god.
Correct, yeah. It is on orders. It's not done willy-nilly in any way, shape or form on this one.
Do we know what? So, Hell sent us in here to solve whatever is going on.
Correct, yeah. Root out whatever is going on with her mother was the term.
I am going to assume Hell knows there's a Valkyrie here, and that's what's wrong with this place, right?
No, it wasn't suggested that. It was something to do with influence of her mother was what came through. The Valkyrie was actually something that was added later when Zisa made a comment or showed a feather, and so there was comments about someone within the city would be able to answer questions. But no, they might not be fully as related as Baldur is kind of intimating there. You are to root out the evil within the city of her mother, was what you've been sent in for. We have covered much, and I think we all have a lot to think on this one. There are some royal quarters above. My family are not within the keep at the moment. They are in safer places. However, Frida, if you have time a little later, maybe we can talk more. Maybe I should fill you in on some of your family at least. Maybe we can have those discussions separately. But you will be all welcome to stay in the places above for this evening. Maybe we have more discussions tomorrow on potential steps. While we have time to talk, we shall. But food will be brought and time will be had for the evening if you need it.
During his closing speech, Hodor's gonna look around at the individuals in the room and look to see if there's that person who, you know when you're in the middle of like a work meeting and it's someone who really wants to ask this question but does realize it's 5 o'clock, so they don't want to, like, they've got something to say but they're not saying it. That's what I'm looking for out of these lot.
Yeah, you can make a general insight check of the. Well, no, just a perception check of the room. I think in
perception. This case. Yeah. I'm just looking for someone who looks like they want to say something. 18.
Yeah, I mean, people are looking genuinely interested a lot, but there are a few guards around that do seem to have less interest. Obviously, woman that was saved, Lan, is here, and she's obviously been sort of looking around, looking at what's going on, and has definitely had more interest in your party than others. And surprisingly, even the guard captain has been a little bit more interested in your group than others, if that makes sense. But nothing jumps out as you as people that are desperate to make a statement or anything like that.
Can I insight check the king?
Yeah, absolutely you can. Yeah,
he's going to do something. Do something in the night. Ooh, 17.
1 second. Let's see how he rolls. He's got some pluses to this, but we'll see on that one. Oh, that's wrong. That's rolled with the wrong person. Bear with me. Roll with the right person. Here we go. On that one. Oh, okay. Yeah, even with his pluses. Yeah, Frida, you he's tense. He is definitely in anguish of what's going on here. However, you don't feel he's lying to you in what's going on here. There is truth in what he has been saying, or you feel there is truth in what he has been saying.
I will say, then let us get some rest, and I will talk to you once we've got ourselves in order upstairs.
Very well. My attendants will see to you. And yes, slowly but surely, the guys, we will move you all to some quarters on the upper floor where you will have a little bit of time. 1 second. Oh, hang on. It's all shuffling all over the place.
We're off map.
Bring them back. Bring them back. There are some very nice, lavish quarters on this upper deck of the of this place. You are kind of left. There are guards on the stairwell. However, they are they are not up here on in this space with you all as this goes on. But yeah, you are kind of left to your own devices a little while later. Nice fresh fruits and some bread and fairly simple stuff is brought up, but there is some reasonable bits brought up to you as you're kind of left to your own devices as a little bit of time will go by. Finally free of everyone else.
James, tell me, how far up are we? Or how far am I away from those stables?
20 feet per thing, so I'm going to say about 80 feet up.
Okay.
So not dramatic, but...
Blythe will just telepathically link with it and see if she's okay.
Yeah, she seems to be okay. Doing okay. Has been fed some very nice food, surprisingly. So not doing too bad on that front as things are going on. But yeah, no. Overall happy but still on edge, but and seems to be still guarding your weapons and things like that.
Make sure that anything suspicious you. Let me know. Good talking. Goodbye.
No problem. Is there anything anyone is going to be up to as the you'll be a little bit of time as the evening will be being making its way? Is there anyone having any thoughts or anything that they would be up to in this space?
Do we each get our own room? Is it one common room? Is it a seating room? Is it a bedroom?
There are so if probably easier if you do just start moving you guys around a little bit. But there are a bunch of little rooms off here. There's some bedding. There's some bits of drawing rooms, things like that. But it's all it's just it's a nicely furnished sort of space with a few beds and a bit of breathing room space, if that makes sense. The only guards are guards on the actual stairwell leading down. Other than that, all the sort of amenities that you would normally get. But yeah, it's a common space with curtains between it. Is the best way of putting it. It might be easier if I get rid of some of these walls for you, and it'll open the space up a little easier than maybe make a little more sense for you.
Are there any windows or no?
Not on this floor. No, it seems to be all the lights coming from these magical sconces that are around. Unlike the throne room where they were all purple, these ones are all in yellows and things like that. But it's lavish enough.
So we agree that we need to free the Valkyrie, right?
Can I grab some parchment and just try and note down those runes that I saw?
Yeah, absolutely. Oddly, paper. Yeah, that's not something that you guys normally get as a thing, but that is a thing. But yeah, you can mark down some of these runes. Yeah,
I try, and I do.
no problem. Strange symbols on that one. Are you showing these to the others?
Yeah, I show them specifically to Rhoda more than anyone because she's old as fuck.
Yeah, fair enough on that one.
Wow,
Rhoda, give me a history check then.
History.
Balder, Blythe
Have it
asked,
with advantage. Go on.
yeah, Blythe asked me to look at them too, and I rolled a 14, so that's what I got.
No problem.
Nice.
Ooh, okay, Rhoda.
22.
Yeah, so yeah. Zisa, yeah. I mean, they have some common links with other runes that you've seen before, mainly talking about old magics. But Rowder, yeah, for you, it's kind of a bit more. There is certainly symbols here that you would recognize from a few different places, but mainly an old home that you'd been to very, very long ago in your earlier days that you spent a fair bit of time with. Certainly, there would have been very similar symbols as to those that are here. So, yes, you would recognize some of them from that point of view as being something along those lines. Yeah.
Would it be a particular home or just a home in my part?
The home of your well, what you were calling your grandmother or the equivalent of.
Oh, okay.
What's that mean? Don't know. I'm not in your head. I can't ask you that.
Meta pigeon.
She'll look quizzically at them and go like, huh. Weird.
And then I just move on to somebody else.
Me and Rowder related.
Yes, let me have a look.
Baltor, master of runes, let me know what you see. So bad I wanted a 1, but still 6 is just as bad.
I mean, he'd get the reroll ones, right? Because we have the little wicker.
Oh
boy
yeah,
with
so
us.
actually
it would be improved, but no. I mean, they look.
Can I roll a disadvantage? Just like
yeah, roll disadvantage just so you could have the 1, please.
Oh, wait, he didn't
just
get
like voluntarily.
You got a 1.
You
got a 1 there from rolling a 2. So yeah, that's fair enough.
But he could roll a 0.
No, he can't because he can't roll a 1.
He can't roll a 1.
Well, I mean, we can only use that power like 3 times every fight or something like that. Outside of combat, how does that work?
Yeah, outside of combat, it's
Also,
not.
stupidity trumps it.
No, on that one. So yeah, so is there anything else that you got? I mean, Baldor's made the comment, hasn't he? Of so are we freeing the Valkyrie, right? Unlike the Bendor people, obviously for you guys, they are like the people that pass you through to Valhalla. They are holy in that form.
It's not just that.
I would give you one. I would give you the one thing. Obviously, the king is claiming she is a Valkyrie. That's very different from she is a Valkyrie. But
just a question.
It is a thing.
Valkyries in like our religion, mythology, however you want to call it, do they have wings typically?
Yes, they do. Yes, they have wings. They appear in fire, and they take you from the fire to Valhalla. Is the way it works. They are the transport to the Hall of Heroes, basically. Yeah.
Be that as may, being a Valkyrie or not doesn't mean she should stay in a cage on display like that. There's one thing being a criminal and being locked up, but that is not what is happening there. It shouldn't be the way people are treated.
Frida, that is coming from a member of the War clan that and what's gone on with them.
And I kill people for fun.
Well, I know that Blythe was opposed to how they killed.
Correct. Yeah, I'm not denying that, but you can't deny the oddities of the symbols of that.
No.
Hodor fully looks at Blythe with a raised eyebrow for that comment for those reasons, because he doesn't like the War in the slightest and will not
Another
will not
question.
hide his emotions for that.
Another question that Balder probably wouldn't think of, but maybe some of the rest would. Valkyries be classified as celestials?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say.
I have a plan to find out if it's a Valkyrie. Do not worry.
Yeah, that's what I was going to try to
Metal pigeon.
Anyway.
So yeah, not you know.
Zisa would be. She's not in this part of the conversation because she's been doing a lap around these quarters, seeing if there are any secret entrances.
No problem. Yeah, you can make an investigation check. See how you do.
That's unfortunate.
But no, yeah, nothing you find, Zisa, as time passes on that one. Is there anything else you guys are up to before trying to get some rest, or have you got other things to think through?
I'll go see the king whenever we're done up here.
Yeah, Hodor would say before you do,
I know it's not the best to try and mention. It's not going to be easy to mention Hel's mother and ask if he's working with her. But if we want to hint at that at any point, I think it's best when Frida, you're alone with him. I think there's more likely things he'll tell you that he won't tell us as a group. So if there's any controversial questions that people have that they want him asked, I think this is the moment for him to be asked when the rest of us are there.
I will ask anything that you guys have a question for. No problem.
If you truly wish for this to not end in bloodshed and to spare your former kingdom, your grandfather's kingdom, you should get the answers that Hel seeks.
If Hel's mother has sway in this kingdom, it may be a lot harder than just asking. Everyone may be under some sort of spell that we don't know. Some sort of curse.
I can't speak to that, but I did not sense any thorns. Now, your grandfather does have an invisible ring, enchanted armor, and a sword. And the head of his guard also has a very powerful sword and armor as well. And a few of the other guards also were wielding magical items, but as far as the influence of the Ironwood, I sensed none. Now, that does not mean that your grandfather has not made some sort of agreement of his own free will. But as far as magical influence, I did not sense any.
I agree, but there may be other means that, as you said, struck a deal, or there may be other means. As you said, I did not notice, obviously, but his ring is invisible. That could be casting something on him, or influencing him, for all we know.
What school of magic was the ring, James?
Hang on 1 second. I will have to go dig that out for you on that one.
Would you see the ring or the spell around it that's making it invisible? Yes. Would you see both?
Or both?
You might get a bit of both on that front. I'll give it to you sort of metagaming. Like it's a ring of mind shielding. So whatever lines you want to take for that.
Ring of mind shielding.
So Zisa would give a slight shake of her head and say, no, the ring would not be causing any sort of influence. Actually, I believe it would be doing quite the opposite. He was wise to protect himself as he did.
Well, that sucks. I was gonna zone a truth in, but whatever.
Did you ask him about the runes that adorn his throne?
I can.
They are Raider in origin.
Yeah,
Curious to see them
very
here.
very old stuff.
And of course I will. That is not an issue.
Perhaps a trophy of a bygone battle where the Bandor won against the Raiders.
It could be. He did say he avenged my family of the raider party that raided this kingdom. It could be from them.
Far older than them, I think.
They could have held the relic, for all we know. But I will ask. It's not an issue.
I think approaching this, if a long lost relative came to me, I'd be distressed more about them disagreeing with me. He seemed most upset when you mentioned more leanings towards raider ideology and teachings. Maybe if you approach things with empathy, and even if you don't necessarily agree with him a lot more, he'll probably be a lot more helpful and forthcoming with answers.
We'll try, but again, I do not remember anything of this culture. I have only known raider culture. I cannot just on a whim try to guess what their culture is.
I'm not saying you should, but show that you have an interest in learning where you come from. That will soften him up, make him a lot more
Pliable.
Softer, yeah, pliable. Make us have a softer view of you. You'll become his granddaughter again, rather than a stranger who he doesn't know.
Yeah, maybe give him like a cute nickname or something. So he takes
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Pop, pop.
Baldo, what nickname would you give your grandfather?
Blythe, it's at this point with your passive perception that you can hear the sounds of something under one of the side tables. There is something going on behind the screen. You can hear something is moving.
I immediately rush over.
There is a coming. There was a crack in the space, and there seems to be an opening to some sort of a secret passage, and someone is sort of peeking out and looking through, and is startled, but takes you in on that one, and she's like, "Shh, are you all alone?"
We are.
Shh. And she's trying to keep you quiet, and then she will make her way out into the space on that front, and she pulls a small item from a pouch and she says, "Gather around me quickly."
Hey,
Okay.
wait. Are we just doing it?
But I'm not doing it. What are we?
Who are you?
Grab your friend quickly. You're in grave
Okay.
danger if you don't.
Oh God.
Insight.
Insight.
You can
Genuinely
definitely
believe it.
insight her.
I'm gonna cast Detect Magic as an action because I don't have 10 minutes. So
Oh, 4.
Ah,
yeah.
bollocks! That's so
That was
close.
me. Yeah, she's so trustworthy. Look at all of our insights.
She's definitely
She's a
carrying a magic item, and Zisa, I will give you. It looks like it will make some sort of a cone of silence or a silence spell going on if she pulls it off.
So Zisa then steps forward and says, "She means to have a private conversation with us with that item.
Quietly.
It does not look like we are in any danger from that, at least."
And she sort of starts to dart off quickly to the top of the stairwell, where she lays down this item and casts something in the moment.
I do not believe we are in
buy us
danger.
some time for a moment. I'm so sorry to have come through like this, but I need to speak to you all. There is much going on in this kingdom, and I needed to see for myself. This one, and she sort of looks at Frida. You do not know me, and you do not know who I come from. But I am afraid your grandfather is in a very bad place right now. And we need your help. We may be able to save him and this place.
What do you... Tell me what you mean. Who are you first? Who... I would like to know who I'm dealing with before just telling me that we need to deal with my grandfather.
I am the hand of the Queen.
Queen?
Your husband, your grandfather's
My
wife.
husband?
Yeah, your grandfather,
I have a husband?
your grandfather's wife. This would be after your time and your family's time. However, she worries for him, and seeing someone else of her family here now, this is why I beseech you now. Especially as we overheard some of what you had discussed in the floors below.
Is there any way we can talk to the Queen? Or is she very much close to the King that we can't get to her?
If you are willing to have the discussion and you will wait a few moments, I will be able to bring her up. But I had to come out and see if you were at least willing before.
I mean, it's more of my family. This is a very weird day for me. Finding out I still have family.
Family by marriage, not by blood, unlike your grandfather, but...
Your step-grandma.
Still family. Does not matter.
Very well. Hold here. And she will dive off into the stairwell to somewhere on the floors below. She will take a few minutes to before you can hear someone is beginning to return up the stairs, and she will make her way into the space. Bear with me, I've got to find the probably easier if I do it from here, if that makes sense. For 1 second, it's a little easier to set up on the throne room for a moment. So you are in those royal rooms, and when she does return a few moments later, she is followed moments later by this woman, not quite wearing the crown and in easier gear as she does, but she will wander in. She looks fairly regal as she enter, but she looks around at you all and then she says, Princess Frida, we had heard you had returned, and by the gods, I am glad that you are here. I do not know how or why you have managed to be here, but your timing is interesting. Your grandfather is in a very bad place. We need to help him if we can.
What do you mean he's in a bad place? What has happened? What has he got himself into?
He has made a pact with something that has dug its claws deep within him. He pretends like he is my husband as he was, but he is not. I know you have not seen much of him to know, but I know him very well. He has progressively changed. He was always a strong leader and always wanted the kingdom to grow, but that has changed into something more manic with the last few years. And then there were these gifts from whatever these people were that came from the trees.
Mm-hmm.
He hides it from me, but my people know. And now I find I have to try and take action, and I can't think of a way to make that action happen until you return here. Understand, I need to try and save him. Rowder, yes.
People from the trees have fantastic dress sense like this. As she adorns the red cloak and the white hair.
They were in red. Yeah. And she does sort of pull back a little bit from you, Rowder, as...
What?
Maybe this was...
No, you can trust us. We want to rid... What we think he has made a pact with. We have our suspicions, and if it's true, then he is far more of a puppet than you may think, most likely.
I know my husband is still in there. I can sense it sometimes, but there is less and less as each passing year. And he has grown more and more aggressive towards the raiders and everyone else. The fleet, the war. We were to take on everyone. That's more than defense. That's more than anything else. My best cleric has managed to at least get a sense that he is in league with something. He called it some sort of a pact of some description. His research had led him to the idea that we would have to alleviate him of that pact. And my men could come up with nothing else but have him die so the pact was filled at death, and then return him. To that end, we have gathered this. And it's like a small golden egg in the hand. This will resurrect anyone. Bring them back from the dead. We were figuring a way we could act, but we did not have enough. Now with you here, maybe it would be plausible. We believe he is very powerful.
As raiders,
Caesar's detect magic, pick stuff up from that egg.
Mm. Yes,
or an arcana, because I know that Conrad's.
Absolutely. I mean, Zeus's detect magic would be picking up that it is something, a relatively powerful thing, an artifact level thing.
School of magic as well. And
it appears to be what she is claiming.
Hold on, is she asking us to kill the king?
Yes,
she is. Momentarily, yes, is the answer. Is what in her mind, yes.
Right.
As a
She's definitely setting us up.
This is.
Is there anything I would know? I don't think I would, but about some sort of pacts, because I don't really know much about the warlocks in this campaign. I don't know who they would.
No one would. No, you've got no frame of reference for that, for understanding those sort of things on that front. You know, pact magic is something that exists and it would have power, but no, as to how it would relate to someone, you do not know.
And if we were to do this, I assume we would have all of the Kingsguard attacking us at the same time. No,
not all. Some, yes, but not all.
Can we get an idea of who would be aided? Can I insight this? Hang on.
Yeah, you can definitely make an insight check.
Someone else do it as well. Just
yeah,
it's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I would also insight.
Okay. She rolled real bad.
I rolled the exact same. So.
She rolled a 4, so even with her pluses, it's not good. Frida, you don't think she's lying. She seems. I think probably the main thing you get from it is desperate.
We knew coming in that there was somebody in your kingdom that was under the influence of some a god that we do not know much about. There is nothing written about this god, but we know the god's husband. I'm assuming the god of trickery, Murgle.
I mean,
Thonia's father.
You know, his body was used to create the world.
Yeah.
Is the myth? Is the myth? If that makes sense, or what the raiders believe. Yeah.
Yeah. And it could have. It's not good. It is not a good thing that this is happening.
My clerics say the same. They say whatever it is old magic.
It is beyond old. It is. If this is the only way we can do this, then so be it. But we will.
It's the only way that my clerics have been able to think of it. Unless you have something else, some skills amongst you that I do not know. But we don't come to you with. Yeah, I come to you in desperation and hope. I will be noticed soon. I should leave. If there is anything else, my handmaiden can help for a little while.
Does Zisa have detect magic up?
She does, yeah. She certainly picked up the egg on that front.
Is she seeing any thorns in the Queen's aura?
Okay. No, fair enough. I will say no. Yeah, she would definitely be able to have told that there are no thorns going on. And I think relatively quickly the Queen has to disappear, leaving.
Can I ask one question before she leaves?
She's about to dart.
Your clerics, do they think he is possessed at all? I may have something to get rid of possession, but if it's something far powerfuler than that, I have no means of getting rid of that.
They call it pact magic, whatever that is. No, they've not called it possession.
Well, then I do not have anything that I can do apart from kill him.
Momentarily, and bring back the real person. Think on this, but do not take long.
How do we get our weapons?
My handmaiden can help with that. And she will dart from the space and be making her way a ways as this is going on. The handmaiden is still with you all. You will arouse suspicion. You will arouse suspicion once you have your weapons. How will you play this? Will you try overnight, or will you wait for the morning meetings?
Overnight would be better, but
God, I can't believe we're committing regicide again.
Does he know anything about pack magic?
Well,
but Harolf is quite old.
Oh yeah, louder.
He's your NPC on this front. Zisa may know that pack magic exists, but she's not. It's not going to be her field of expertise because it's kind of pack magic is big stuff, isn't it? But it's its own thing. That's the problem of it.
I've just looked at the wall. Just briefly looked at the warlock and seen the patron, not the actual patron, but the name of it.
The meta pigeon.
Yes, I will not look into that anymore.
So she's basically asking how will you want to play this? Do you want me to get your weapons now, or do you wish to wait for the morning?
I think this is something we need to do in the night to have the least resistance, I guess.
His guards will be less. And then, Frida, if you are to go down as you were going to have a meeting, you will have moments, and then your colleagues can arrive.
Would the Queen's men be ready for tonight to aid us?
There are a mix. As always, we cannot have all of our men cover the king, but there will be a few amongst them. It will be obvious they will not draw on you, but they will not take the king's blood.
Do we have any names of anyone particular, or they just
They will let
regular Kingsguard?
They will know. You will know.
Okay. What if we tell them that we're going to resurrect him? Will everyone be on our side?
Who's gonna believe us?
Not anyone. We are raiders, remember?
I even barely believe this lady when he says this will resurrect him.
She says, This
Get our
allows
weapons.
This allows you to act where others cannot. You are the key for this.
Frida is like acting stoic, but you can see that she's kind of really not feeling this. She is like, oh, for fuck's sake.
It's fair enough. It's a lot to be asked. Absolutely. I mean, there's no ifs or buts in this.
Well, to be fair,
Welcome
like
home, dear grandpa.
Frida thought that all of her family were dead anyway. So.
That's true. Yeah, it would be. It
Real
would be
fun.
kind
Now
of.
I have to kill them myself.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah,
it
but you
would
could
be
just
helpful.
pretend you never knew that.
Was it implied earlier that it was going to be a solo meeting between Frida and her
It was.
grandfather?
Yeah.
So Frida will have to go down on her own first, and then you guys
I mean, it's
would
only an
have to.
old man.
Yeah. Well, he wouldn't.
Yeah,
It would
quick.
never be on his own.
He had-
but yeah.
He had like 5 magic items on him. It's gonna
And
be
Just
a
an
roll.
old
Valdor's
man.
only an old woman.
But you would have to be
Um,
ready to act. Shall I go
Just-
now?
Trip
Yes.
him on the stairs.
Get
Yes,
get our
all
weapons,
that
but
stuff, yeah.
I think I should go down without a weapon, and somebody chuck me my weapon when we end up fighting.
Very well.
We're going to Luke Skywalker this situation.
Yeah,
Who is this? I do not know this name. Is he a god?
the legend of old.
No problem. So
It
yes,
was a long, long time ago.
It was.
Galaxy far away.
a little while later, a few minutes will pass before the handmaiden of the queen brings back pretty much all of your weaponry. You are
The dog?
You are not the dog, no, but
Oh, God.
she brandishes, brings all of the weaponry to your arms, and says, "We'll be expecting you soon, Frida. Remember, the rest of you be ready, and act quickly at a call." And with that, she will disappear into the space as this is all going on. I'm going to change things, but
Oh,
Frida, how
God.
are you going for?
I am going
moving
down.
the stairs?
With nothing, no weapon, apart from the knife, which is technically a dagger.
Yes,
So
yeah,
technically
your
I have a
ceremonial
weapon.
knife. So I think the rest of you waiting on the stairs. Frida makes her way down. By all means, Frida, you can make your way down the stairs, unarmed, well, semi-unarmed, as the rest of them wait at the top of the stairs. The king in a quieter, more somber mood as you make your way down. The rest, the guards around, less of them at this time of night, but still many. And he sort of says, "Ah, granddaughter, you return. And it is time for us to talk one-on-one. I must learn much about you and what has happened. I'm sure you must have need of knowledge of your father and what's left of your family. Let's speak of these things rather than courtly things right now. Let it be a grandfather with a granddaughter." And he says that, but then you're also, because you're on edge, he's still in full armor, still has a very lethal sword at his side as all this is going on.
Do not worry, I have a dagger
Yes,
and
yeah.
zero dex, so I will never hit with the dagger.
You can attack with like
Yeah.
dex weapons, with like finesse weapons.
Yeah.
Only
My punches will probably do more damage than the dagger, so I might just.
So how does this play out, Frida? Yeah,
Yes.
We'll be ending fairly shortly, but yeah, let's see how where we're picking up next time from. I've got a feeling I know.
Yes. Well, I will have a decent conversation with him for a little while.
No
I want to
problem.
learn.
I think the conversation talks of your father now running your mother's lands in Oaken.
I want a map of that, please.
It is a land to the west. He also says that your mother's grave is there, and when you do sail, visit her shrine at some point and see the queen that she was. Basically, it's her land. It was her lands. Now your father rules in her stead.
But before I would have went down, I would have cast this because I want to know about the Valkyrie at the top, but I also want to know about him. I'm going to cast Detect Evil and Good on this whole space.
Okay, they've added some sound effects to all of that. Okay.
That was very weird.
No, they've added a lot of sound effects and things in on that one. Okay, on that front, I am. I'm going to say it's not pinging anything odd coming from the woman in the cage. Nothing at all. Utterly.
Not
great.
even a celestial.
Not even a celestial right now. No. She does not ping in any way, shape, or form right now.
Yeah.
On that one. The rest is not is not great on that front for giving you anything really on that one. However, I will say that his throne and everything around it is basically desecrated, and is glowing, and everything around him is glowing red with fire, almost like fire. As it's almost like he's sitting on a throne of like purple fire that's going on around him, and it's sort of blinking in his eyes with that as you do. But as you're talking to him, it's an odd sensation, Frida, as you're looking at him. But the conversation stays cordial as you go through.
So the about the family, and I would like him to maybe give me a sort of map of where my father's land is.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly helps point out exactly that kind of thing. There is a small paper parchment map that he does offer as this is going on.
I will.
So much like your mother, but I see your father in you too. He was a good son. Is a good son.
I would ask about the runes on his chair, and I will be like,
the chair that's glowing with fire.
Yes. This is. I'm assuming this is what's going to start the fight. How
does Frida go on? What does Frida do?
She will say your throne. It seems to be Raider in origin. The runes are not Vendor.
No.
Where did you get
them from? They are not
from?
Raider either. They are far, far older. There are powers in this world that are older than most things, going back to the beginning of the creation.
Oh, I know that for certain. It would seem you may have got more knowledge about these older powers.
I do. There is much that can be learned from them, Frida. Now, in these quiet moments, they could be offering things to you too.
I'm sure they can, and I will throw the dagger.
That's good.
Fair enough, no problem. As you do throw the dagger.
Wow, I did loads of damage
on that one.
No.
You will absolutely go through his armor, piercing him, stabbing him on the side.
I will shout now.
Yeah, the room will erupt in in a cacophony of things as an almighty explosion of fire. It explodes from his body, surrounding you, Frida, in those moments. And that will be where we will pick up from next time, when we will actually be dealing with how that's going to play out. Because woof, that's going to be a bit more of a fight than we can do on this one. But yeah, well done, everyone. I think we'll call it there for now, and then we will come back to that next time then.